Of course, when I want to film their goodbye video, I can't find the camera, the heavy-duty tripod. This whole thing is crooked, although I will fix it in editing. Hello everyone, welcome to Bugle, Splatter, Splatter, Bugle and Splatter's goodbye video. They have been here for a very, very long time. I'm wearing my shirt. Look, it's my favorite shirt ever because he looks like, I don't care, and she's like, I love you, Bugle. And if that's not their relationship, then I don't know what is. I wanted to give them a little bit of a different goodbye video than just a normal TikTok because they've been some of the longest fosters that I have personally ever had in the rescue. And on top of that, they have been two of the most difficult fosters I have ever had to tame, ever. So let's rewind, let's go back in time. It was a July day, it was incredibly hot, and we thought there was just one more kitten that needed to be caught, even though there was really like 4, but we found that out later. We thought that we just had one more kitten left at the abandoned mansion project, and that kitten was Bugle. He's playing with my watch. You can't see it, but there's a glow. That was Bugle, and he had thwarted all of, I'm just gonna take this off because it's just gonna make them upset. He had thwarted all of our efforts to trap him up till then. So we had initially gone to the mansion beginning around the beginning of June, and then we caught him at the beginning of July. So he was about 12 weeks old when we caught him, and naive little me thought, 12 weeks old, no problem, easily tameable. I was incorrect. That was not easy. Although I will say that, you know, we got his sister Chex Mix the previous week and she was so easy to tame, and so was Ritz. There was just something about Bugle that made him that just extra to tame. So we finally were able to catch Bugle on that hot day on a drop trap. We finally got him and we brought him here, and he was incredibly spicy. I was like, can I touch you? And he was like, absolutely not. And thus began our long journey of please trust me, I bring you food, aka taming. He always had the airplane ears. You guys remember that? I remember distinctly him being in the bed and Chex Mix was next to him and she got up to come say hi and he was just like, with these huge eyes and these little airplane ears. He was just so mad. He was always so mad at me. I felt like for the first few weeks we hardly made any progress. Some days I could sort of touch him, and then some days he would lunge at me. Some days I was allowed to be in the room, some days I was not allowed to be in the room, and he was just a lot. And Chex Mix came around really fast. We trapped Ritz Bits came along really fast. And then we let them all into this big room to mingle and be friends, and then Bugle just hid. He just hid. And I rarely ever saw him. He didn't want to come out. He wasn't inquisitive. Like he didn't want to be part of this domesticated life no matter how hard I tried to convince him. So then, fast forward to August, no just kidding, fast forward to the last week of July, because that is the week that my foster was like, hey, my parents have a colony at their house. We thought that we TNR'd all the adults, but whoops, looks like we didn't. And 2 kittens had appeared and they had trapped one of them, and one of those kittens was Paint, Mr. Sir Paint, the love of my life, who again came around incredibly fast and was a very sweet boy by like the 3rd day. He was a little nervous, but he was purring and making biscuits and just such a sweet little boy. And then August 4th came. I remember that day distinctly because I went up to check on fosters at my foster's house and let her know that all of her fosters had ringworm, just discovered it that day, and her parents had trapped little Miss Spaghetti Doors, aka Splatters. And I remember that day distinctly because poor Splatter was in her little carrier while my foster and I did recon on her house. And I brought Splatter home and reunited her with her brother. Then literally the next day, I went in to feed them in the morning, say hello, do my normal everything, and you guys know what happened next. Splatter escaped through a tiny little hole in her little playpen and she destroyed my blinds. destroyed them. I was not mad at all. I felt so bad because there was this tiny little scared baby who saw this escape route that was the window and went up to it and didn't quite understand that she couldn't go out the window, but she kept trying. Mainly, I'm just grateful that she didn't like destroy my computer, but she did destroy the blinds. And that was the beginning of the Splatter renovations. So then we let Splatter and Paint in here, and they hid, of course, but I think that's how Splatter and Bugle's friendship started to blossom. So Splatter is really like a cat's cat. She's not like a people cat. She's like a cat's cat. Like, she loves all the other cats. I remember distinctly that a lot of people were very concerned that she was like unhappy with all the cats in the room. And she wasn't unhappy with all the cats in the room. She loved them all. She played with them all. She was friends with them all. What she was, and what it didn't really allow her to do, was get comfortable with me, because my attention was always on the other cats, and so I never really had a lot of time and a lot of, you know, free hands to focus on her because there were always other cats around. So for a while she kind of skated under my radar despite me going in and trying to pet her every day, and she would kind of cower in the corner with Sir Bugle. Spudadors, spudadors. Come here? She says no. And it just kind of happened more and more and more and more that I saw the two of them hiding under things together, cowering under things together. I'd look on the little camera and spy, because that's what I do, and I'd see them playing together. And I didn't really consider them a bonded pair until we kind of got most of the kitties out of the room, and there really was just, you know, a handful of kitties left. Well, hello, Miss Spaghetti Doors. What are you doing? Okay, she's gonna direct from the corner. And I just started noticing Splatter just like following Bugle around like he was her older brother. I would say, like, as much as I joke about like she loves him and whatnot, look at this. I mean, she does love him. She kind of looks to him like an older brother, wanting to show her the ropes, show her what's going on, and really looks to him for her confidence. And it wasn't until a lot of the bigger ones left that I really realized, like, oh, I think she has a bad obsession with this, with Bugle. I think she's got it bad for Bugle. And of course, you know, the story writes itself. Bugle starts to come up for pets, and then as less and less kitties are in the room, Splatter gets more and more confident and gets more and more of my attention, and she starts to turn, and now she is the sweet, run up to the door, lovable girl that she is today. You can't even see her face, but you can see her ears. But I think the hard thing about their story is one that I don't love talking about, because I know you guys all love Splatter, and I love Splatter and Bugle too. But they've been in the rescue since July and August. July to August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Bugle has been in the rescue 7, almost 8 months. 7, almost 8 months. He is almost 11 months old, which means he has taken a spot from other kitties that could potentially have needed that spot in the rescue. And this is where it gets like weird, because yeah, I want Bugle to be here. I want him to be friendly. I want him to have a full life. But also, like, in that 7 or 8 months, we probably could have had multiple kitties take that spot, and we could have saved more lives. It's just like this weird balance in rescue where you don't want to expend all of your resources on one animal, because that's how rescues fail. That's how things fall apart. But you also want to give every single animal a fighting chance, you know? I don't want to give up on any animal just because money and time are an issue, but I also have to be strategic in how I make those assessments. And I think this year was a big learning curve for me in that. You know, the previous year I learned a lot about software. I learned a lot about ringworm. Like, I learned a lot about some of these other procedures. And this past year, I think I've really learned about where to draw the line, because in general, taming kittens shouldn't take more than a couple weeks. It really should take just a couple weeks for them to warm up, get through the deworming protocol, get a couple vaccines, get spayed and neutered, and then get adopted out. Be like friendly enough to be adopted out. But Splatter and Bugle were not like that. And it's so hard for me to... It's so hard to make that assessment, because I see the two kitties as they are now, you know, fully tame, fully sweet, and honestly wasn't entirely sure we were ever gonna get here or ever gonna be able to say that these guys are adopted, because I just didn't know. Because there were weeks where I felt like we were taking steps back and we weren't making any progress. And so knowing what I know now, you know, I'm glad that we kept him and I'm glad that we tamed him. But also I think it can speak to future endeavors of like, it's so hard to say. I hope you guys know that I'm trying to be as like forthright with this as I can and like realistic with this as I can, because I know we can't save every animal. That's just unrealistic. So we have to be incredibly strategic and really thoughtful about the resources we put towards all the animals in our care. And in a county like ours where cats are others and they already don't get a lot of care, having cats that could be living in their outdoor space, happy and healthy, you know, catching mice and bugs and stuff, being feral for the rest of their life is perfectly fine. I think feral kitties can live wonderful, happy lives if they have people take care of them and have their best interest at heart. But of course, you know, it was a sticky situation. We couldn't have put Bugle back in the mansion because the mansion's being torn down. Splatter was not welcome back at the place that she was trapped, so she needed to get out of there. I did reach out to a few barn homes to try to get them into different sanctuaries and barn homes where they were like a 501c3 farm animal rescue, and everyone was just full. And so I think honestly, had those rescues said that they weren't full, like they could have taken them, I would have moved them into a barn home way back in like October. But they were full, so at that point, you know, you can't give up on an animal in your care just because it's gotten too hard. You have to either, you know, you make the decision, you have to make decisions. And so with them, it was like, all right, well, they can't go back to where they came from. They can't, they can't go to any sanctuary barn home where I know they would be cared and looked after. So I guess we're in it for the long haul because I'm stuck with you, which I love them. I'm so happy that I'm stuck with them because they are so sweet and wonderful and goofy little floofs who are gonna have the absolute best life possible. You know, it just taught me a lot. It has taught me a lot. This coming year, when we go trapping, if we trap older kittens, I will just TNR them. And I won't really think too much about it because I know that they get to go right back into the home that they know with people who care for them and people who feed them and other cats that are friends with them, rather than having them coming here where they spent months and months and months trying to learn to love people. Splatter and Bugle were very incredibly difficult for that reason. I felt very guilty, like I was keeping them here for selfish purposes rather than what was the best interest for them. But you know, reflecting, like I said, they really didn't have any place to go. So it was kind of either get friendly or I try. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. None of that. But they made it. And I think that that's incredible. I also have to keep in mind it's kind of a 1 in a million shot. It's a rare story to see these feral kitties go from what they were to what they are and to have found love and friendship along the way. I also get a lot of questions of, aren't you sad when they leave? Don't you miss them? And well, like, yeah, I obviously miss each individual personality. I love each kitty based on their personality and what they are and the joy that they bring me. But also, I'm so happy when they get adopted because I know that we found them the best home. There's like hair everywhere. Of course there's hair everywhere. I know that we found them the best home. I know that when they leave, we get to take on more kitties who needs us. And I know that their best chance at a life where they are loved and spoiled unconditionally is not in my house. It just isn't. Some weeks I feel guilty that I don't even have enough time for my own adults. And I work really hard to try to have enough time for my own adult cats. I do get a little nostalgic when they leave. I don't know that I ever get like sad. I get very nostalgic. I'm like, oh, do you remember when Bugle tried to take off one of my fingers because he was so spicy? It was so fun. Do you remember how Splatter cost a couple $100s in damage to my blinds? I'm so cute. Look at them now. That's what I do when they leave. I don't get sad. I just get nostalgic. So I guess with this, right now it is 2:56 on Thursday, February 24th, and their new mom should be here in about an hour and a half, and then they will be on their way to their forever home. And it has been quite the journey with these two. I'm so happy to see them go. And I know you guys will be sad, but also very happy for them because they're gonna have the best life ever. Ever. Hi, baby. Spudders. There's a nice little sunspot. You're so pretty. Bugle. Hey, bud. Spaghetti doors. Does whatever spaghetti door wants. Please ignore the litter box mess. We're gonna clean out this room, and Bruno and Tulip will get to be in here for a little bit. Love you. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We did it! We got him adopted. Now it's time to find more spicy babies that need us, because it is spicy baby season and I love me some spicy babies. Anyway, okay guys, love you, I appreciate you. I will see you in the next video. Bye!